Dear children, today in this session we are going to discuss the language components based on the lesson, a lesson my father taught me, written by APJ Abdul Kalam. Now when we talk about the language components, we have 5 topics, that is punctuation, second one is framing questions, third one is use of negatives, and the fourth one is linkers, the last one is comprehension passage. We will see how to answer the questions based on these topics. Now to begin with, we start with the punctuation. Now when you are going to answer the questions on punctuation, you need to concentrate on the commonly used punctuation which we are going to make use in the sentences. Which are those commonly used punctuation marks? One is capital letter, a comma, inverted commas. They can be either single inverted commas or double inverted commas, a full stop, a question mark, and an exclamatory mark. So these are the most commonly used punctuation marks which you need to keep in mind when you have to answer the questions on punctuation. Now let us see the examples which are already there in the textbook. If you have the textbook right in front of you, the explanation which I am going to give you will help you in a better way. Now the first question on punctuation is, my father was elected the president of Rameshwaram Panchayat Board. Now if you see this sentence, you don't see any of the punctuation marks in this particular sentence. Now let me explain what punctuation marks have been used here. Now in this sentence, the first word my, M is small, you need to use the capital letter as it is the beginning of the sentence. Now continuing with this sentence, you have the word Rameshwaram, which is a proper noun. You need to give a capital letter, and at the end of the sentence you need to put a full stop. So these are the punctuation marks used in the first sentence. Now moving on to the second question, he asked me what is this, who has given that. Now absolutely no punctuation marks given in this sentence. Now here when you look at this sentence, it looks like a direct speech. Now when you see a direct speech, the dialogue which is said by the person should be put within double inverted commas. So let me explain this sentence. Now he asked me, after this you are going to use a comma, and the statement made by that person is, what is this, who has given that. So these sentences should come within double inverted commas. And since this is a question, you are going to use the question marks after the sentence. Now moving on to the next section, that is framing questions. You have sentences for which you need to frame questions. Now when we have framing questions as a topic, we need to have two kinds of questions in mind. One is WH question, the other one is yes/no question. Now whenever you look at the sentence with a word which is underlined, the moment you see the underlined word, you need to frame a WH question. Now you can see the sentence here, the life of a fireman is full of danger. Now the word fireman is underlined here, and the instruction given in brackets is frame a question so as to get the underlined word as the answer. Now to get that underlined word as the answer, you need to frame a WH question. Now what do you mean by WH question? A question which starts with WH words. Now which are the WH words? What, how, who, when, where, all these are called WH words. So now these words will be the beginning of the question. Now to get the word fireman as the answer, your question will be, whose life is full of danger. Now the second sentence, a crowd collected at the marketplace to watch the fight. Now again you have the underlined words as to watch the fight, and you are supposed to frame a WH question. Now the question is, why did the crowd collect at the marketplace? Now moving to the third one, yes, he is elected the president of Rameshwaram Panchayat Board. Now here you don't find any underlined word, and the instruction given is you are supposed to convert it into a yes or no question. Now how do you do this? Is he elected the president of Rameshwaram Panchayat Board? Is your answer. Now when you frame yes/no question, the beginning word should always be a helping verb. Now which are the helping verbs? It can be a be verb, or a have verb or a do verb or a modal. So every yes no question will always begin with either of these helping verbs. Now the next sentence is no, the battleship was not sunk in the combat. Now convert this into yes no question again. So you're going to start the question with a helping verb. The answer is, wasn't the battleship sunk in the combat? Now after the framing of questions, the third grammar topic which is there in the textbook is use of negative sentences. Now when we say negative sentences, a sentence which has negative word, that is either not or no or never, those sentences are called negative sentences. If you are given a negative sentence, if you have to make it positive, you need to remove the negative word. If you are given a positive sentence, to make it negative sentence, you need to add the word no, not or never. Let's see how we can answer these sentences. Many people attended the ceremony. Now convert this into negative sentence. You need to add the word not. Many people did not attend the ceremony. Now one more point which you need to keep in mind while transforming the sentences is that the tense should be maintained. Now the first sentence has a past tense in it, so your answer will also have a past tense. Now the second sentence, he was not highly respected among his colleagues. Change it into affirmative sentence. Now this is a negative sentence. Change it into affirmative means you are supposed to remove the word not. And the answer is, he was highly respected among his colleagues. Now the third sentence, was the accountant blamed for the error? Convert into negative. If you have to change it to negative, add the word not. Answer is, wasn't the accountant blamed for the error? Now the last sentence under use of negatives is, didn't the black cat cross your path? Convert into affirmative. So if you have to change it to affirmative, you are supposed to remove the word not, and the answer is, did the black cat cross your path? Now the next topic is linkers. Linkers is nothing but conjunctions. You must be aware of the conjunctions when you had read parts of speech either in your high school days or in college days. So here the sentences will be given to you with the blanks, and within brackets the choice will be given to you. So you are supposed to pick the right linker and place it in the blank. The first sentence, Abdul Kalam's father and mother were on namaz. And is the linker used here. Second sentence, Abdul's father was not only a good human being but also pious man. Now not only but also. These are the linkers used in this sentence. And the third one, his father bet him, yet he consoled him with affection. Yet is the linker. The last sentence, his father bet him because he had accepted the gift. Because is the linker. Now in this section of linkers, I don't think you have to think too much. The words are already given. You will have to pick the right one. Now to answer this question correctly, you need to know the meaning of the linkers. Only then your answers will be appropriate. Now moving to the last part of language component, it is comprehension passage. A passage will be given to you to comprehend. What is the meaning of comprehend? Study and understand. After understanding the passage, questions will be given to you. Answer the questions based on the passage. Now these questions are 1 mark questions, so you have to be precise, up to the point, and it should be either in a word, phrase or a sentence. Since it's a 1 mark question, you are not supposed to pick too many sentences from the passage for the answer. Now let's see how we have answered the questions on this particular passage. The passage goes like this. In many countries, only one language, the mother tongue, is enough to satisfy the need for expression of most of their inhabitants. In India, however, the position is more complicated. Here, an educated man is called upon to master more than one language. There is, first of all, the language that he learns on his mother's lap and through which he expresses his first needs and feelings. Naturally, it is in this language that he gains maximum proficiency. But since India is a very large country, we really need one extra language, a lingua franca, as a means of communication with states other than our own. But even this is not enough. An educated Indian requires the mastery of an international language, one that is widely understood and is used in the dealings of one country with another. Ideally speaking, then, the educated Indian should be able to read and write in 3 languages and moreover should be able to express himself in all the 3 with ease and fluency. Now this is the passage given. Now the questions given based on that are: how many languages should an educated Indian master? The answer is an educated man is called upon to master 3 languages. Now this answer is picked directly from the passage as an answer. Now the questions where you get the answers directly from the passage, such questions are called referential questions. Now if you can't get the answer directly from the passage, if you have to understand the passage and infer the answers mean you will have to frame your own answers based on your understanding. Such questions are called inferential questions. Now according to this knowledge, the first question is a referential question. Now if you see the second question, in which language is a person most proficient? The answer is language that is learned in mother's lap and through which we express first needs and feelings. Again, the answer is picked directly from the passage. So this question is also a referential question. Now third one, why do we need a lingua franca? Now the answer is we need lingua franca to communicate with states other than our own. If you have observed, the sentence is directly picked from the passage, hence a referential question. Now the fourth one, why does an educated Indian require the mastery of an international language? Answer is an educated Indian requires the mastery of an international language, one that is widely understood and is used in the dealings of one country with another. Here again the answer is from the passage, so fourth question is also a referential question. In the examination, the questions may be a combination of referential and inferential or only referential questions. So you need to understand the need of the questions and give the answers. You might have observed also that the answers did not cross the limitation of 1 sentence each. So you need to stick to that marks and the demand of the question and then answer. So this explanation of the language components, I hope it is clear to all of you. So you can go through once again. We have been discussing the language components after each and every lesson. So by this time, I hope your understanding of the language components is clearer. Now in the next session, we are going to meet with the revision of the entire lesson, a lesson my father taught me, written by APJ Abdul Kalam. So we can have a quick recap of everything that I have discussed till this particular session. Thank you very much.